to occasionally say, "Shut the hell up in there, I can't hear myself think." To get
listen, enough of this love fest crap, okay? I can't tell you the number of times after a session guys would say, "Jeez, what the hell's wrong with that guy? He just works the crap out of us."
Thank you, Paul, thank you.
Okay? And that's true.
Now, the truth is going to come out from now on.
Yeah.
Yes, along with blood from your mouth.
But the proof's in the pudding, folks. And I think I know the director you're talking about. The difference between the directors is so amazing. Wally was a taskmaster. He wanted it the way he heard it. He wanted you to give it your all. And then you go to another session with another director, and he would have you, and I swear this is true, he would have you, okay, before the session, I want you all to get up and think you're a color, and walk around the table as you're a color. Or be a fruit, or do something else. It's like,
sounds like a fruit.
With what I'm doing here, you know.
So what's wrong with you?
Yeah. No, but you know, but it's that sort of thing. And Wally, he did his job, and he expected you to do your job. And that's what it's all about. That's all we can ever ask for.
Did you guys all record at the same time?
No, I refused to record it.
No, we did. Yes, we did.
Everybody was together.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's the big difference between games today, where they bring in an actor, because it has so much dialogue, they can't have the other sitting around waiting. But the games are done with solo, and what we call ensemble is the way we record it. Sometimes as many as 18 actors in the stage, in the recording studio, would be yelling at them from the control room.
But you know, the movie was done, I don't know about you guys, but I was all by myself. Were you you were paired?
Yeah.
We did scenes as scenes.
Oh, see, for the movie?
Yeah,
I was all by myself. I still remember we were at B&B.
nobody wanted to be with you.
Oh. I just remember being in B&B, and we were all together, and it was a great time, and it was crazy, and I remember doing the movie, which I'm not in a lot of. It was about a half an hour's worth of a session, and we were at B&B, and I remember I was all by myself, and you were up in the booth, like, I don't know, it was miles away, and it was very different from the way we did the show. But you guys were with others?
Now wait a minute, the B&B first session I remember was the G.I. Joe session. Were you in Joe?
Yeah, I was in Joe, but not the movie. I wasn't in the Joe movie.
The Joe movie was a combination of 3.5 hours that was put together, called a movie.
Oh, then maybe I was.
I thought we recorded at Wally Burr South.
We did, but the movie was recorded at B&B, wasn't it?
No, I worked at Wally Burr South.
See, I didn't have
None of us were even involved in this.
I'm sorry, this is getting so testy up here.
Did anyone record with any of the guest stars in this film, like Nimoy or Orson Welles, or?
I'll tell a quick one on the young man who played Papa.
Judd Nelson.
Judd. Judd was very cool. He came in, I remember the first time we saw him, the rest of us all came schlepping in our own vehicles, because we were the guys who'd been doing the series. And I remember Judd coming in with a driver, brought a driver in, and they brought him in. And he came in, and this is my recollection, you guys help me out if I'm wrong. Judd hadn't done much animation. So he would actors like to look at other actors when they're talking. When you're like this and you're all looking at microphones, it's hard to say your line and have it be picked up on microphone if you're looking around.
Yeah.
Why I really like seeing you there. And it was that sort of thing. So, well, okay, no, Judd, stay on the microphone. But he wanted to look at the other actors, and you can't do that unless you've got things set up that way. But it's impossible when you have that many actors. So some days it took a lot longer than it would normally take because we had someone who had to learn. And Wally, to his credit, was very kind but very direct. You got to you got to stay on mic, otherwise who cares what you're saying?
Judd Nelson, I don't think had ever done voiceover in the sense of doing it for a cartoon. And I remember him standing about 10 feet away from me through the glass. He said, "I don't know what the fuck I'm doing." And he was.
We said, "Welcome to the club."
He was he said, how close do I stand? There are a lot of things you have to learn in voiceover. You don't walk around, you don't do body English, as he's saying, you don't look at the character. It is kind of tough if you've been doing on camera, you just almost automatically look at the person you're talking to. In any case, he was very humble, and not that he needed to be, because he's a damn good actor, but he just said, I don't know what I'm doing here, so tell me. And stars will sometimes come in and say, I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice working with him.
I had a similar experience with Lionel Stander. I was standing next to him, and he would say, we gotta go over here. Explaining the scene to me, because he was an actor. He wanted to make contact. And Wally, 99% of the time, would have his face buried in the storyboard, as he should. And he didn't realize what was going on. So, we're losing you, you're off mic, Lionel, let's go again. And I'm just like, hi, Wally. And finally, I looked ahead in the script, and I realized I don't have any lines for a while. So I got off my chair, and I ran around, and I stood in front of Lionel. And he played the whole thing to me.
Thank you.
And I don't think you even realized that I did that. No.
I was under the desk, I think.
David, you must be the youngest actor to ever be in a film with Orson Welles by leaps and bounds. What was it like doing as a young kid doing this? And did you do
Can I
anything?
take the time for one quick story?
Yes, you can.
He was supposed to come in a limo. The limo came, he wasn't in it.
This is Orson you're talking about.
I asked the driver what happened. He said, Mr. Wells said, go on, I'll be along shortly. And indeed he was. An old Pontiac, and he drove up and he unlimbered himself, and he weighed about 3 1/4, I think, at that point. He got out of the car, and he was wearing those square-toe shoes that some people wear in the he kind of had to stop. I thought, oh shit. And that's where the line came from. As a matter of fact, I do not remember that line, and people have asked me about it. Was it intentional? I think it was something somebody did as a joke, because during sessions people will fire off little things that are kind of funny. And I think I said to myself, they'll cut that, they don't worry about it, just go on. And he left it in, which I thought was very brave, especially back in 1985.
Yeah.
Or 6. Shut up, Burr.
Actually, I think it's pretty cool to be able to say you were in a movie with Orson Welles. I've been wanting to hear these Orson Welles stories because I never got to meet him. Are there any more?
I was going to finish that.
Yeah.
You're going somewhere.
Grant, would you like to go back to the box office? He arrived, unlimbered himself. I went over, I wanted to introduce him. I had placed a piece of stemware glass on his disc where he would be sitting, and a bottle of Schweppes. And if you remember those days, that was one of the commercials he used to do. In any case, I introduced myself, and then he gestured to the driver of the limo, and the bonnet, the back end of the trunk came open, and this wheelchair that would, a custom-made one that would go up to about 3 feet to accommodate Mr. Wells's rear end. And he went in and sat down, and I said, do you mind if we wrote a few lines? What I wanted to do was find out whether he'd read the script. And it was apparent pretty soon that he hadn't. And we were running lines, and I decided to cue the lines that Leonard Nimoy would be doing the next day, I think. We did Mr. Wells solo. You do that with stars. In any case, what happened to make you laugh? That's the way it was. I had
The quote we heard was,
I don't work with other actors. They waste my time.
I don't know if that's true or not.
well, in any case, I sat down opposite him, and he said, no, go ahead if you want to. We'll run some lines, let the engineer get a level. And so I started cueing him with, that is to respond to his lines, with what Leonard Nimoy would use as his dialogue. And Mr. Wells stopped suddenly, he said, you're not going to line read me, are you? I said, I wouldn't dream of it, sir. Well, you're doing it. Oh boy, here we go. I don't know whether you've ever heard outtakes from Wells' sessions.
Oh, yeah.
But they're full of profanities and what he will do to you if you don't do this or whatever. But in his defense, Mr. Wells could look at the script and say, I know exactly what this means. or what it was intended, how it has to be played. And I didn't touch him, except at one point I asked him to pick up the tempo a little bit. This is animation, it has to be a little quicker, a little brighter. And he said, I don't think I can read this any faster than I'm reading it right now. And he said, furthermore, I'll do the slicking from now on, which meant, Burr, don't touch this button again until I'm finished. And he managed to do it, and it was slow indeed. And we took it over to Paramount, and I don't know what it was, but there was a device then, a rather crude device. They could do it now with almost any electronic device. But we sped him about 6 or 8% to make it move along, and it sounds beautiful. I think the voice just comes through like thunder, which is what it was supposed to do. But he was dragging his heels and liked to hear his own voice.
So God, wouldn't you if it sounded like that? I'd never shut up.
Now, a lot of the action shows are on at that time, they're like He-Man, and then you have a comic relief like Orko or something, but they weren't really that funny. This hits, the jokes are all really funny for any cartoon, let alone an action show. And can you talk about working together and getting that timing and actually what it takes to make these jokes come alive in an action show?
Let me read you something here, real quick. I really will shut up. You know I won't. This is a quote. When the first live-action Transformers movie came out in 2007, Mr. Bay, who was a talented effects man, and the Time magazine reviewed it, and here's the total review. I quote, "A big, loud, empty machine where vapid human beings keep getting in the way. Stick with the '87 show or its feature." I don't think there's much humor other than if you like crushing and crashing and banging in these more subsequent things. Mr. Big keeps saying he'll do it better next time. That's all. Back to you, sir.
Hey, could you talk about working with Wally and working with the timing with each other? And was it good because you knew each other from G.I. Joe and all these things that you got good timing for each other?
I didn't work on G.I. Joe because my voice wasn't deep enough. For some reason, your career goes through these different phases, and back then, most of the stuff I was doing at Hanna-Barbera or wherever were more wild characters and higher voice stuff for some reason, and I don't know why that is. So I never even auditioned for any Joe stuff.
You played a lovely, warm character, and none of these guys are lovely and warm. I mean, in the littles, and I think I probably characterized you as being a fatherly type.
Oh, if you only knew. That's my daughter. No, it's because I like to touch people. I'm sorry. That's a little, inside joke.
Not anymore.
The best thing about it, you can always get timing jokes and whatnot when you're in with the other actors. Stuff happens. I'm always amazed. I do a lot of Pixar stuff, and I'm always amazed that the editors and the directors can pick things out when you're in the studio by yourself, and somebody else is in the studio by themselves, and they get the timing and put it together, and it works. It's very funny. I mean, it's amazing what they can do nowadays.
As long as we're on the subject of editing, I bumped into an old friend, actually, who I know from Klasky Chupo days, and Duckman and Real Monsters.
Yeah!
Peter Tomaszewicz. Yes? No? It's the last name that gets me, but he was on the editing team for the movie we just saw.
And for all the episodes as well. Yeah.